Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. As you know, I am obsessed with Love Island USA. It is an insane show that pretty much takes place on a daily basis. A group of contestants referred to as islanders living in isolation from the outside world in a villa, constantly under video surveillance. They throw a bunch of sexy singles into this villa in Fiji in hopes that all of these characters will couple up and find love. Unfortunately, we dealt with heartbreak this past week after the public had been voting to save their islanders. It was revealed that Hakeem was vulnerable after not receiving enough votes. Now, unfortunately, he is off the island. The good news is that he is here with us today. Not only is he an islander, but this man is an online fitness, a business coach. He has helped other people like strive for success, millions of dollars made. But Hakeem White, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I love that that intro.
Well, man, I was doing some research on you, and it really is wild because we got to see the Hakeem from Love Island, but it was really interesting to read about you and really read about all of your success in the outside world and how many people you actually helped motivate and coach them, like business coaching. I thought that was like fantastic.
Yeah, now I've been basically doing business coaching for half a decade now. Been in the fitness space for a decade, 10 years. So it's all I've ever known, and it's what I do. So thank you so much.
No, I mean, it was amazing. And I was so glad to actually read that. I wanted to tell the audience that because we didn't get to see a lot of that. We got to see you working out. You probably had one of the
Yeah,
best physiques in the house. I mean, like you really got everybody on their workout tip, which was amazing.
yeah.
Um, how long have you been back from Fiji?
Um, I've left the show. I would say, was it Sunday morning? And so, what is it now? Thursday,
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Dude,
So it's been a couple days. So very, very fresh.
I mean, how are you? Because you were in this bubble for this period of time, and then all of a sudden you get ripped from that bubble. Where
Yeah.
are you mentally right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's very different to be in a house where it's like just drama and just like chaos and like be isolated around just all these people 24/7. But now mentally, I'm really good. I've been wanting to just kind of get back to me because the house feels like I was back in high school with everything going on. Like that's not how I live my real life, and so it was definitely a transition. But no, I'm happy to just sounds bad weird, but I'm happy to just be out the house in that aspect, just kind of go back to regular life, honestly.
Yeah, I bet. I was trying to explain to the audience because Hannah was on this week as well.
Mm.
And she was referring to like how much it really is a bubble is that you don't know what time it is there. You're not
Oh,
connected to the outside world. So really you are in this bubble just with these people trying to form love connections of some sort. Were you serious about having your heart open to that experience?
yeah, I mean, I was definitely open to it. I mean, I'm very much of a analytical processing thinker. So if I look at the success rate of people who go on shows and actually find love, it's, pretty dismal when you really look at it. It's very, very low. So while yes, I was open to it, I didn't have high hopes or expectations in that manner, So I went in with just let me make the most out of this experience. Let me be the best person I can be. And let me kind of shake things up if I can, So that's
I mean,
that's
you were trying. You were going every different angle. You came in, by the way. If you guys have not watched, Hakeem came in like a firecracker. He was immediately making conversation. He was
yeah,
laughing with everybody. What is that experience like? Because you weren't initially there on the island. You were one of the bombshells, kind of brought in.
yeah.
And is that a really intense situation to be brought into people that were already forming relationships?
I mean, not for me. I love people. I'm super, super social. I can, be the star of any, social setting. Like you put me in the middle of anything and I'll turn on. So I felt very comfortable. I walked in with Connor and I felt like it was a good dynamic with everything because Connor's a bit lower in terms of, I guess, energy a bit. He's more serious. He
Well,
walks.
he's also stacked like this. He's like a
Yeah, he walks
Terminator.
around like Superman or the
Yeah.
Hulk. Um, so it was good. I think that first initial time walking in, all of the women were very welcoming, and so like I felt great. Who wouldn't want to be around like six women that are like, oh my gosh, tell me about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it felt awesome, honestly.
Did you feel like the men treated you differently since you were coming in late? Because the women were all over you at first, but were the men a little bit more hesitant to let you in that kind of gang?
I mean, it was probably just like the first like 30 minutes because they were just who's this dude walking in? You know what I'm saying? And so after that, honestly, everything went really well. They welcomed me with really just warm hearts with everything. All the guys on the show are super close. As weird as it may sound, like we're all dating each other's like girls and things like that. Like we're all bros, like truly, truly, truly at the end of the day, like, we all love each other in the house, honestly. So no, they all the guys welcomed us, welcome me, welcome Connor, welcome everybody. Even the new guys that come in, like we welcome them, you know what I'm saying? We're good.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like, I mean, Rob and Aaron, they're like always like just like on top of each other, hugging each other. Like all of
Yeah.
you guys, like it is funny. It seems like those are the actual real relationships in the house, is like between the men and then between the women. You guys split off and tell each other the actual truths of what's going down.
Yeah, the definitely the bros in the house. We get along really well. But yeah, Rob and Aaron, that's how Aaron is. Aaron's with everybody, just hopping on them. Probably not my cup of tea, but even when me and Connor came in, me and Connor, we had a little bromance sharing beds. But I think when you're just in such close proximity with people, it's kind of like I called it like basically a summer camp, honestly,
Yeah.
for just adults. And so when you're sleeping with people that close and love is involved and you're sharing like, these truths to yourself, it's like you get close to people very easily and everything when you're spending every second. It's like having a sibling, honestly. That's what I would call it, really.
Yeah, that's why I think the show really works, is because you really sense these relationships forming. Like it's not
Yeah.
fake. You actually see you guys out there. Now, here's some silly questions about the house. People are always wanting to know about, like,
Yeah.
your diet. How do you keep up with the diet in there? You guys are all ripped. Is it just like protein powder everywhere? Like, do they
Yeah.
keep you like supplemented up? I mean, because you have the
Yeah.
gym outside. What are you eating? Or does your diet just go to trash there?
Yeah, so the beds are like infused with, muscle building hormones. So when we sleep at
Oh shit!
night,
Wait, are you joking? Yeah, you're
no,
joking, right?
I'm messing with you.
Oh my god!
Um,
I was like, that exists. The technology exists. That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they keep us secluded so we can't share the technology with anybody. But no, I mean we have breakfast every morning. It's all the food is organic, really healthy stuff, eggs, avocados, just like vegetables, everything like that. And so all the guys we cook breakfast with each other every morning, and then we always have a healthy lunch and a dinner. I think the bigger thing is that we're just doing things all day nonstop, so we just burn so many calories going on. So I feel like I lost a little bit of weight being there, honestly. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you get in there and you have such a regimen already in your actual life. Did you
Mhm.
start having that kind of natural takeover of like, this is what you guys need to be doing for your bodies. This is what you need to do. Like, were you actually coaching? Because I was reading about you. I was like, God, I would just try to buddy up with you to get advice about
Yeah.
my career and my health. Were people doing that at all with you?
I didn't really focus on me in a sense of what I do in my like regular daily life, like on the professional setting. Like I never like I would tell people, yeah, I do business coaching, yeah, I do fitness, but I never was like told them the extent of like, okay, here's how good I am at it or my success with it. Like I never shared anything about even the monetary levels of what I've accomplished, in any capacity.
Yeah.
Um, that's just not really the person I am. I mean, if you find out about it, then great. I'm welcome to talk about it with you. But when I go in a setting like that, I just try to be like a normal person, have them have no expectations or assumptions about me except for just judge me on my character and who I am. So all the guys were really fit. Like they liked working out, they liked doing all that stuff. So it was like they were good. I think it was more so the women that needed help, but because they would spend like their workout regimen was doing their makeup for 3 hours in the morning every day. Like that's their workout.
That's tough, Hakeem. That's a lot of like lifting the hand to the face.
Yeah.
It's a tough workout. To get back to that night that unfortunately you got off the island,
Yeah.
how intense was that for you? Because how we view it at home, they're pounding that music.
Yeah.
Ariana's there, and it
Yeah.
seems like the most intense thing. And it was down between you and Rob in a sense,
Rob.
and I
Yeah.
really thought Rob was going to like potentially get out of there because he had ruffled Leah's feathers. I really was very confused. Take us into that moment, how intense that was for you. Were you kind of like, oh shit?
Yeah. I mean, being up there, honestly, I knew if it came down to a vote that I'd be going home. Just being straight up, like Rob of the guys is the most liked, I would say. Obviously, from the viewer standpoint, it looks like, you know, a little different. Kendall also is one of the most liked, but the guys didn't do it off of popularity, which I really respect. They did it off of who had the truest connections with their coupling, right? And so Janae and I, we had recently just gotten coupled up, and we're more so in kind of a friendship coupling to some degree. And so Rob and Andrea, like they were super strong. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't want to vote them out. You know, Kendall and Nicole, you know, they had seemed to be going pretty well. You know, they were stronger than Janae and I's connection. So I kind of already like had made amends in my head, like, oh, like I'm probably going home if they're gonna do this in the right way. Obviously, the girls chose a different way on how to vote.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know,
I'm saying. That holds up what you're saying, but then when you go to the girls, them voting Andrea off
yeah,
completely trashes that actually kind
exactly.
of logical way that you're thinking.
Exactly. So the guys, they did it logically. So that's perfectly fine. I didn't hold anything against them. And so like I knew, like I was like, all right, cool. Like I know I'm going home. And like I was also at a point where I was ready to be like, all right, cool. I've done enough time here. Like I didn't leave like after just one or two nights, you know, like I've been on the show. I think I did what I needed to do. And it was like, you know, I was like, all right, cool. If I go home right now, I'm not upset. Like I wasn't upset. Like if anything going on, I was just like, I was happy. I was smiling, you know, I was okay. With it in that moment. And so I was all right in that moment. So like it seems tense and everything going on. But for me, I was just calm. I was like, I can't, you know, change anything. So I'm not gonna get stressed or pressed about it, you know what I'm saying? So that was how it went. And that I think on the women's side, they took it a bit more intensely. Before we even got up to do the voting, Janae was literally shaking. I saw Andrea and Nicole like literally just like concerned.
Yeah. I thought somebody was
Um,
going to pass out. Like I was like, this is the most intense thing. And we're
yeah,
hearing it with like the music piped in. So it makes it even
yeah,
more intense. But you got, and then the tears, like I
yeah.
mean, everybody fell apart. Like Rob was screaming,
Yeah,
everybody was crying. And it was, you're right. You kept it so cool and collected. And when the guys in the room were talking with you, you were like so chill about it. There was no anger or resentment, or at least
no,
that's how it appeared. But the ladies, I mean, it was like torn apart.
yeah. So I think the biggest thing was that the voting of Andreoff was more so of a popularity vote than like who's here actually off of connections and trying to find love, because Janae wasn't going home. Like straight off the bat, I just knew Janae's not going home. She was like kind of the kingpin of the girls. That's what I like to call it. She was like a
you
mastermind.
You really
Um,
think she's a mastermind?
she was a mastermind and a half, like truly, of the girls, with everything. Like even Leah, Serena, and Janae have a little group they call the Powerpuff Girls. You know,
Oh my
and
Powerpuff
they
Girls.
yeah, and they like go on secret missions around the house, but they're like all super tight, close best friends. But no, literally, they walk around on their hands and knees trying to like listen in the conversations and like get feed on anything going on. So they're super tight. And then also, I guess, with them being super tight, then kind of going into it, like Leah already had issues with Rob, Liv already
Big
had
time.
issues with Rob. And, you know, if you're going to make a power move, like voting off Andrea is going to be the power move, right? Voting
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
Nicole doesn't do anything. Voting off Janae, you can't vote off your mastermind, you know?
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was just a little too early to be doing a vote like that, though, because like the Bombshells just came in, you know, and I don't know. I felt like it should have been a little later in the show, but yeah, I mean, the girls voted off of popularity and just trying to make a move, I guess more so against Rob in that manner. And like Serena and Leah, they're tight. They're gonna back it up, and then obviously then Liv, I think is gonna be influenced by that. So I think they were like, all right, let's get Andre out of here because we're threatened by how close they are. And let's go off of that. Because to me, I thought Nicole was going to go home. Like I thought that
Yeah.
would have made the most sense. with everything going on, even
Yeah.
though logically it probably should have been Janae because she's had the most couplings and been with the most people in the house to
But
find stuff.
Nicole kissed what's his name, and
Yeah,
Kendall had not known
exactly.
about that yet. So I was like, I thought Nicole would have been the move. So I was
Yeah,
really kind of blown away by that. But it's really, Hakeem, it's really interesting to hear you talk about this because you really thought of this in a very strategic, business minded.
yeah.
You really seem very realistic. Were the other men around you thinking strategically like that, or having these conversations? Because you really come approach it from a very a smart
Logical.
manner.
Yeah,
Yeah, logical
exactly.
manner. Were the other people like that as well, or were they even admitting that they were playing a game?
Not really. I think the only person that was close to that was Janae. She had watched every episode of Love Island and studied every single episode. And we would talk about what would happen next before it happened. And 90% of the time we'd be right. But okay, cool. 2 bombshells are coming in. Oh, it's going to be a girl. Oh, it's going to be a guy. Oh, it's going to come in during this. Oh, girls are choosing. Oh, guys are choosing. Right. So things like that, like even some stuff that even hasn't even happened yet, I can theorize like that we've talked about where the bombshells are going to come in, boom, they're going to do whatever bombshells might do, and then after that, then the girls are going to choose, right? Things like that. And so, I only talk about that with Janae, which is why I really got along well with her because like our minds process and work in the same manner.
Yeah.
And so, like I was always kind of ahead of what was happening. That's why I knew if a vote went down, I'm going home because I had the least strongest connection and I was probably the most disliked guy out of the girls
Well, you
in
even
the house.
said I was watching the Love Island USA Instagram, which you guys got to follow, but you were interviewed on there, and you said, and the lady hosting it said that you are the most misunderstood person in the
Yeah.
villa. And I thought
Yeah.
that was really interesting too. And even doing a little bit of research, I was like, wow, it is interesting. And just to talk to you, you do seem like kind of you were misunderstood. How do you think the other Islanders misunderstood you?
Yeah. I think I just went in as just my goofy self and just like kind of just like, all right, here's this kid, here's, me being me. I think in the things that I would encounter, such as the situations, I looked at it very logically, and I'm also very much I'll say things with what needs to be said, what not what needs to be heard. And so that's why you saw me in the fire pit ceremony where I talked about where Hannah, said the whole thing about 50-50, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't tell Kendall that. Like, they're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have said it then. I'm like, when else am I going to say? I'm going to say it right now, So things like that. And so like I've always stood by the truth and I'll say the truth. And I'm also not afraid of confrontation or controversy. And so for me, I live my entire life where it's like I'm a polarizing individual, not off of that I want to be polarizing, off of the fact that I really stand on what I believe in and I say it as it should be said, right? And so obviously the girls are going to feel some kind of way about that. And so that's that. Like I called out the guys on certain things when I want to call them out. And so I think in the house too, like I didn't make the best friendships with the women because of some of the things that I got. And like the whole thing with Liv, as well. I was trying to be very mature
Yeah.
in the situation. And so it's a lose-lose for me to be in that situation, even though I was the one trying to have a conversation with her, trying to have her sit down and talk to me. And then I'm the one getting cursed out and yelled at. It's like, of course I'm going to be misunderstood because it's like, oh, Hakeem's now in his second little, thing with a woman in the house. Like, oh, what's wrong with him, blah, blah, blah. And then I said the whole, like the negative comment, and they didn't show a lot of this on screen, but like Liv was in a lot of the drama that was caused with a lot of the couplings or on the guys' ends that wasn't really shared. And so like, I'm not going to say anything that isn't actually true. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Liv is going to break down. She's going to cry. Then all the girls are going to want to start hating me because of that. And like, if I'm not close with the girls, then they're just going to take Liv's side directly. Right. So, I think a lot of that came in. I even called out some things with Serena and Cordell, and Serena got kind of mad at me because I told Cordell, I was like, look, I don't know if she's really serious about you because
Dude.
I think Serena's playing the game, honestly,
Oh,
because she knew, she said, hey, I'm friends with you. And then once she realized that the guys were going to choose, she decided to do what? Get back with Cordell, right?
and he
Then
took, and I couldn't believe he fell for that. I was like, what? I mean, and
I told him, look, this doesn't add up because the thing is, I actually talked to Serena. I was getting to know her a little bit right before the guys were gonna re-choosing, and then I got to know Janae. And so I was telling him, like, look, like, boom, like from what she told me, like, I don't really think that she's back into you truly. I think she's just doing it out of convenience. And I think there was a small clip where I said, I think this is out of convenience.
Yeah.
And boom, Janae probably told Serena, hey, look, the guys are going to be choosing next. You got to like do something to get back with one of the guys or be close to them. Boom, she goes back to the easiest option. And then what happens after that? Obviously, the girls are going to choose next, right? So now she's in the power. And then boom, and just throws Cordell under the bus like the first instant that she gets.
Last night's episode, I don't know if you kept like up to date with what's happening. Last night, she burned that dude. The ended like Cordell was almost like bumming out up there with his champagne glass. I felt so bad for him, but you did try to warn him. And by the way, first off, I think you got to host your own Love Island podcast. Like you're no, it's really interesting to hear your perspective on this. And I keep thinking about you saying Janae is a mastermind. Really a missed opportunity to not have you there still, where you and Janae could have teamed up as masterminds and tried to get to the end. But it is a game based around love. And just speaking about that, was there one woman that you were not able to get close to that you had a potential immediate attraction to? Or was there nobody that really floated your boat in that way?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the connections that I had with Hannah, Liv, even Janae, like they were cool, but it wasn't anything that was like a Rob and Andrea or anything like that. Like I didn't have anything that was like, oh my gosh, like I'm all in on you type of thing. And so I'm not one to fake it as well. So it's like, I can't force that. Like if I really like you, like it's going to show, truly. And if I don't like you, it's going to show as well. So there wasn't any women in there that I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to be about you and things like that. I'm very particular and like in that manner where it's like your mindset and the beauty has to like match as well with everything, which is why I really align with Janae on those components, because our mindsets were really great together overall with everything. Obviously, she's very attractive, probably not my usual go-to, but overall, like none of the women in there, which is why I was okay leaving, because I was just like, I don't have anybody that I truly am like all in on or really care about or want to truly get to know in that manner. Like if it wasn't for Janae and us being like a friendship kind of couple, like what am I going to just wait around for somebody else to come in? And then the blonde came in, like that's not really my speed in that capacity. So I'm just going to be there kind of just bopping around.
It becomes more of a game. It becomes more of a game of like then how long you can actually withstand. Who's the most sincere?
Go ahead.
Who's the most sincere woman in the house, in the villa?
Sincere, let me think. So we have Leah, definitely not. Serena, definitely not. Like playing the game. Who else do we have? Andrea, Nicole. Nicole, definitely not. Like she's playing Kendall, like the nicest dude in the house. Like, come on. Liv, horribly not. Never. I would have to say Andrea, because she was upfront with who she wanted. She went after that person, which was Rob, and then she let everybody else know when they were trying to talk to her that she was all in on Rob. And I think she has the best qualities of, not as like a person, just of somebody who's respectable. Because for me, I don't know how the other guys were doing it, where it's like, yeah, go talk to this girl, go talk to that girl, let her have this. If I actually found somebody that I was like all in on, I wouldn't even be kissing nobody else. I wouldn't even be trying to look at nobody else, talking to nobody else. And I would want the same for the person I'm with. Like all the guys in there were like, yeah, my girl, I'm open with them exploring other connections. I'm like, look, if I had somebody that I was really, really all in on, like, if you want to go explore the connections, do that, but it's going to be without me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, close off immediately, because that also shows the audience at home that you're taking this seriously, because Kaylor and Aaron are almost like at a point where they're closed off, because Aaron thought maybe there was potential with Andrea. That didn't happen. And I think they're in a good space right now where the audience is getting to know them more. I do have to ask before we leave about Rob and Leah, because they really are such an interesting pair of people. What is going on with Rob? Because Rob seems like he's in his head half the time. I can't tell if he's the smartest man in the world or potentially one of the less smart people in the world. He like literally hid in the pool from the cameras because he was almost like in tears. I mean, what is Rob's vibe being around him that we potentially don't see? Because he's a fascinating reality show character, but is he real?
Yeah, no, he's a super genuine guy, honestly. Super genuine guy. He cares a lot, and I think that's the thing. He just cares a lot with things. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, of the guys, Rob is the most liked, honestly. Like he's like, not that we have leaders with the guys, but you can see who's like the guy that all the people want to gravitate around, and you can tell. Like I got voted off, and all the guys were more upset that Rob might leave than me leaving.
I mean, they were in tears. Aaron, I thought Aaron was going to lose his mind. Like I
Yeah,
mean, there is that element that they were bawling about Rob, and you're there having to
yeah.
pack your bags.
Yeah. And so like, but I understood it though, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, Rob, I think he's a great person, honestly. I think he's just been in weird situations. I think Leah's more so the issue, where Leah's just like neurotic, honestly. Like she'll just like flip on a switch, not to like talk badly of her,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just in a like straight direct way. Like we be talking to her, you'll say one thing and, so, and she just like go like off. And Rob is just chilling, cool. And just I don't know, the fact that Leah would even plant that thing of just trying to get Andrea out in that manner.
Well, that's the thing. I
Yeah,
mean, now I kind of come to accept that it feels like it really was
yeah,
like a really forced out. Like Leah especially wanted her out. And after last night's episode, which you probably didn't see, I mean, her and Rob are talking again. And I'm like, and Rob,
oh
by
yeah,
the way, has finally caught on to it. And he
yeah,
called everybody, including Liv, and said, hey, I think Leah is telling me one thing and telling you guys one thing. But Leah was immediately like, Rob, I like you again. And I'm like, what? And, Terminator dude is like, what are you
oh
doing?
yeah.
Like,
I already knew that Leah only really wanted to get with Connor because Connor's closest to Rob in the house. And I think it was kind of like a shot towards Rob in that manner. Like Leah was never gonna be with Connor. Like I just saw that like direct. I was like, Leah's gonna play Connor, Serena's gonna play Cordell, Nicole's gonna play Kendall, because Nicole had been making these slight remarks to Miguel the entire time. Like when we had the kissing challenge, Nicole in front of Kendall, right when I was around Miguel, she was like, "Oh, like you grabbed everybody's ass, but you didn't grab mine." I'm like, in what world would you ever say that when you're coupled up with this dude right here?
I know.
And I was like, Kendall, you got to talk about that. And then, boom, what happens here? 2 days later, they're kissing and they're trying to get to know each other, right?
Yeah.
Miguel's in there to play the game too. You know, he doesn't actually really like Liv. Like he's just there because
Yeah.
Liv is a safe choice. You know what I'm saying, for that moment. And then Liv, it's weird to say, but like Liv has a big heart. Like honestly, she has a super big heart, and she gets very like fiery really quick. But I think she cares a lot. And so I think after our blow up, she's like kind of calmed down and learned a bit more, just kind of like chilling out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope she does well with everything. But yeah, like yeah,
Well,
that's kind of the rundown there.
well, this is my time with you, and you have been fascinating. I wish I could talk to you for hours
Yeah,
because
same.
I mean, like, listen, like, Hakeem, like, I was really blown away. You guys got to look up his business. You got to follow him on Instagram and stuff because I kind of was like really fascinated with that, and I would love to talk to you more about that at some point because it really was interesting. But thank you for spending so much time with us.
Definitely.
I know it didn't end potentially the way you wanted, but I think you're right. You got what you needed out of it, and it was a great part of TV this summer. So thank you,
100%.
Hakeem White, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much. Have a great one.